At this point in time, you may already be familiar with the fact that you can write a decimal as a fraction and you can write a fraction as a decimal. You may also know that fractions have something called equivalent fractions. Now, if you put both of those two things together, you may get the idea that you may have something called an equivalent decimal. And if you do, you'd be correct. However, unlike equivalent fractions, equivalent decimals are way easier to spot. Let's take a look at these two numbers here. Here we have 5/10ths and here we have 50/100ths. Now, these two numbers are in fact equal. Although they look different, they are in fact equal. And that's because these two decimal numbers are equivalent decimals. Now, all you need to do in order to get an equivalent decimal is either add a trailing zero or remove a trailing zero. So in this case, you have this number, and if you was to add one trailing zero, you would get this. See, there's 1 0 trailing your number here. Thus, you have a trailing 0. And for this one, all you have to do is remove the trailing 0, and you're going to get the same exact decimal number. So, whether you're adding or removing trailing zeros, you're going to be getting your equivalent decimals. Now, it doesn't just have to be one trailing 0. You can also have something like this, which is going to be equal to the top here. 0.50000. It doesn't matter how many trailing zeros you have, they all mean the same thing. To drive that point home, let's look at the fraction form of these two first numbers. Here we have 5/10. That's what this 5/10ths means. You have 5/10. Here we have 50/100. That's what this 50/100ths means. 50/100. Now, these look different, but if you recall what an equivalent fraction was, you know that these both mean 1/2. 5 is half of 10, 50 is half of 100, so they both mean 1/2. So if their fraction forms are equivalent or equal, then the decimal form should also be equal. So adding trailing zeros doesn't change your number, it just changes how it looks. It still has the same value, it just looks a little bit different. That is the secret behind equivalent decimals. Now, not all zeros are the same in a decimal number. You have trailing zeros, and you have what I call sandwich zeros. Now, sandwich zeros are going to be any zero in between your decimal point and your first non-zero number after the decimal point. This zero right here is what I would consider to be a sandwich zero. Now, sandwich zeros are very different, and they make your decimal number very different. This decimal number right here is saying you have 5/100ths. So the fraction form would be 5/100. And this is going to be very different from your 50/100. And you knew that 50/100 was the same as 5/10. So we also know that 5/100 is not the same as 5/10. So you see, although you're simply adding a zero, you're adding it to the wrong spot. It's not a trailing zero, it's a sandwich zero. And because it's a sandwich zero, it changes the decimal number. This is not an equivalent decimal. And just like trailing zeros, you can have multiple sandwich zeros. So you can have decimal point 0.00000 and then your 5, and this is still not going to give you an equivalent decimal. However, you have multiple sandwich zeros. So depending on where your zero is, it can have a major effect on your decimal number, or it can have no effect on your decimal number, essentially giving you an equivalent decimal. So let's look at a few more examples to see if we can identify which ones are going to be equivalent decimals. For this example, which one of these decimal numbers is going to be an equivalent decimal? Is it going to be A, B, or C? If you chose B, you would be correct. Although all three of these have 4 digits after your decimal, only this one has the same exact first 3 digits and then a trailing 0. B is going to be our equivalent decimal. For this example, which one of these 3 answers is going to give us an equivalent decimal? Is it A, is it B, or is it C? If you said A, you'd be correct. A is going to give you an equivalent decimal. So you see your equivalent decimals can also have whole numbers. The biggest thing for an equivalent decimal is to make sure that your trailing zeros are either present or absent in this case. How about for this example? Is it going to be A, B, or C that's going to give us our equivalent decimal? If you said all three of these, you would be correct. In fact, all three of these choices are going to be equivalent decimals to our question here. You see, in order to get each one of these, you're either going to be removing some or all of your trailing zeros or adding some trailing zeros. But these are all, in fact, equivalent decimals. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something today. And if you did, be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button. See you again next week.